Muy buena, gente. Antes de nada, probando. A ver. Vamos, Alex, habla, coño. Alex, venga, habla, hombre. Muy buena, gente. Vale, se escucha todo bien. Vamos allá, DLC de Destiny 2. El DLC número 3. Yo era gran jugador de Destiny 2. He jugado muchas horas a Destiny 2.
Morning, everyone. I'm Luke.
Y estoy aquí para que Bungie me venda el DLC 3. Muy bien, tienen que hacerlo.
Yeah, it is. If you've been on the internet the last few days, it is the leakiest ship on the internet.
It's true.
So what we've got today, we've got a cool show lined up for you. Behind us, you can see Dado getting ready, Dado, Ben, and Catherine. We're going to talk about Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, which is the next chapter coming out this fall. But first, let's take a look at it.
Vamos a ver el tráiler, que no lo he visto. Lo has lanzado, pero no lo he visto, Vamos allá. Dicen que vuelve Crota. Cuidado,
Always brings us back
Cuidado,
to the past.
Esto va a ser brutal.
Can you feel them? I can still hear their voices. Their endless torment reshapes our moon. Nightmares now stalk the surface.
Ahí se ve a Gol, a Crota.
Seeking vengeance.
Esa era Arismore, la del principio.
Old fears may rise again. And in the dark.
Buah, es que tiene muy buena pinta,
Something wicked has awakened.
Shadowkeep.
Must bring an
Venga, va, Bungie, véndemelo, va. No me engañéis más,
one way
Oh.
or another.
So the question on everyone's mind, since Bungie's gone truly independent and is in complete control of Destiny's future, we're publishing the game now, we're an independent company, is now what? What's the plan? Where are we headed?
So the way that we talk about where we're headed is like the way we've talked about over the years is what's the vision for what we're trying to do. And so the vision for Destiny going forward, the Destiny franchise, is contained in like 3 parts. The first part is being an awesome action MMO. And
Yeah, we've been worried about that term for a long time. We've shied away from using
MMO.
that. Yeah, because it comes with a lot of baggage. It's like, does that mean it's a subscription game, or you got to play with a mouse and keyboard, or whatever? But like, man, this is one of those things. We're on our own now, and it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. It's a duck. Like we can accept the fact that this is what the game is.
There's like duck emojis out in the chat right now. But like when we say MMO, we don't mean like subscriptions. We don't mean subscriptions. We do mean 2 things. The first part where we're lacking right now, and we've like been getting better, Forsaken certainly adds to it, is
Lo quieren hacer un MMO al final de este.
Really, want deeper build customization for our players and for your characters. You're creating these monster killing machines and you want to make them your own, and we can do a lot more there.
And so a bunch of what we're doing this fall is going to be about adding the stats back into the game, RPGing the game more than it was. And D2 launched away, Forsaken improved it, and we think Shadowkeep's going to take that kind of to the next level. The second part about what we mean when we say RPG is really important to us. It's about improving social.
A ver, o se le ocurra mucho o a mí otra vez no me engañan, porque yo caí con los renegados, me gustó. No me arrepiento de la compra que hice, me gustó. Fue un DLC que me gustó. Pero acabó la semana muriendo. A lo mejor lo ponen gratis. Yo y lo del cross-save es que me llama la atención. Si Sony no acepta lo del cross-save, dudo mucho que aunque sea gratis, con todo el contenido gratuito, me pegue yo otra vez 100 horas de juego para llegar al cap ahora mismo, ¿no? Que creo que era 700, chaval. Es una locura.
And so part 1 of the vision, awesome action MMO. Part 2 of the vision for Destiny going forward is a single evolving world. And we have been close to the mark in some ways and far off in others. The way we've been close.
Están fuera de Activision ahora. Ahora no es Destiny Activision y Bungie, no, ahora es Bungie solo.
They launch this dreaming city cycle that like transforms the world, and we think that's awesome, and we want to do more things like that.
When the community gets to come together and discover secrets and solve problems and push the world forward and push that narrative forward, that's when the game really feels like it's not a game but a real world.
Like for people who don't know some of where I came from.
A ver, se me escucha bien y todo, por cierto, a ver.
In my time in WoW, the Scarab Lord Gates opening event was this moment that brought these huge communities together.
I've never heard of that.
A ver, probando.
It became this awesome event, and I think the potential of what we're trying to do with Destiny is create moments like that create bonds between players and let players work together to change the world. The third part of the vision here is play it anywhere.
Yeah,
a ti se me escucha bien, ¿no?
Play Destiny anytime, anywhere with your friends. And we're definitely going to take steps here this year. And the first one.
Well, I don't know which first you want to do. Like we're just coming off of the Stadia announcement, which is our partnership with Google.
Yeah. So with Stadia, Destiny 2 is coming to Stadia this year, which is going to be awesome because it means you're going to be able to play Destiny anywhere you have a Chrome browser with their controller, and that's going to be just incredible for our community. You're not going to have to lug your PS4 home to your mom's place at Christmas anymore. In case Xur's selling One-Eyed Mask or whatever. That's not a promise.
You know who's been talking about this all the time? It's like Scott Taylor, constantly talking about where he's going to play. Can't wait to play on my. He just lists a litany of devices that he wants to play. He wants to play Destiny on, and
that story's just cracked wide open with Stadia. So we're super excited about that because it lets you literally play anywhere.
So it's a great fit for the vision. And then the next thing, do you want to just jump? We have like our set list that we're moving through. And so the next thing on the list, there's been a little bit of talk about over the last 24 hours. Like maybe you want to talk about cross-save.
So yeah, cross-save is coming to Destiny 2 finally. And we're super excited about that. What cross-save is, it is about taking Guardians that you've created and being able to play them on any platform. And we are, super excited about that, and we know fans have been asking for a long time. And contrary to maybe what you've heard on the internet, because I just want to be super clear about this, cross-save is coming to all platforms, all of them: PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Stadia. And there's some people clapping in the studio.
That is, we do not have an applause line.
¿Qué has dicho?
The enthusiasm of the team.
So we're super excited about that. And Bungie and Sony are working together to ensure that cross-save is coming to PS4.
Vale, bien. Bien.
We've dodged this question so many times. About, which platform do you play on? Which platform?
El cross-save también está también en Play. No normal. Porque mi personaje estaba en Play. Mi personaje estaba a tope en Play.
But cross-save makes that statement actually true because you can go from PC to PS4.
Claro.
Wherever you want to play.
El cross-save está en Play, menos mal.
Is where you can
so you've probably seen reports on the internet, and that may be different to this. There's a reason we do these shows live. So.
It's for the really awkward.
Quiero jugar a Destiny 2 en PC. No me obliguen a jugarlo en Play, por favor.
Let's talk about.
Yeah, when we think of anytime, anywhere, that third part of the vision, cross-save, Stadia, those are parts of it. But we have some real barriers to making that totally true and really making that a reality.
Bien.
When Forsaken came out last year, for instance, look at the first-party stores. There's 9 different versions of the game. You need some kind of decoder ring to figure out what you're supposed to purchase.
Normal.
It's just wait.
Estaba preocupado, lo juro, porque digo, a ver, estos de Sony no van a querer, macho.
So the reason, our answer to this big problem is, what if we just create a free entry?
Luego me meto en mi cuenta de Bungie.
A brand new way for players to, a brand newish way for players to enter the universe. But there's still this problem of, oh gosh, I've got 40 hours of game to play. I've got to get through these campaigns, which are cool, but that's not really the part of the game that matters if you're playing for hardcore reasons.
In the season of Opulence, Menagerie just came out. It's a 6-player match-made activity. It's awesome. I love playing it. But if I'm going to recommend it to a friend who's not playing Destiny, it's you got to buy this version of the game, then you buy this other version of the game, and you got to play all that. And I'm not going to play
gente, a ver si puedo enseñar mi...
You're doing old stuff. And so it's going to take.
Así puedo enseñar mi guardia.
It's hard to recommend. So we need to fix that.
So the answer to this problem is.
No, este es del 1. Yo quiero ver del 2.
Once you enter New Light,
Mi perfil.
in 10, 15, 20 minutes, you now arrive at
Este
the
de
part of the
aquí,
game that
fijaos.
matters to you and your friends. Where
Este es mi
jumping
personaje.
the Gambit, Crucible, etc. This is about crushing the barriers between
A
friends, making it
524 lo
a
tiene
game
subido
real.
yo.
There's something
Claro,
else
ha
happening in
cambiado
Destiny.
la
I'm
cosa
gonna
ya,
check it
pero...
out. And New Light's totally free.
It's free. You download New Light, create this character. Within 15 minutes, you're playing Gambit with your bros or running around the EDZ and discovering lost sectors. Like, you're having a really fun time. So the other part of this handshake is the way we're thinking about selling the game differently now. We have, for years, had this compounding purchase model, even something like the annual pass, which I think we've learned a bunch from, and we have plans for how we're going to iterate on it over time. It meant that up front you had to spend $35 rather than maybe purchasing things a la carte, and that strategy is a strategy that we're changing now that we're in control. Yeah, if you think of New Light like a baseline, we're thinking of our content kind of like atomic packages that go on top of that. So Destiny 2 Shadowkeep is completely standalone. It's an expansion pack and it's standalone. It's an expand-alone, I guess is what you would call it. You don't need to play Forsaken. You don't need to play Curse of Osiris, Warmind. You don't have to have played Drifter, none of it. You buy it and you jump right in. But we want to do that with seasons too. And so going forward, our seasons, you're going to be able to jump in and have a great free experience, and that's awesome. But if you want that, access to some of the premium content, you can jump in and buy that season, season 8 separately from season 9. Yep. So another part that we have had trouble with over the years is answering questions around things like exclusive content. We have had exclusive activities, exclusive weapons, things like this, and those things violate kind of that second part of the vision, which is that single evolving world. So going forward and beginning this fall, single community of players where everyone can be together, but you're like, well, let's play this strike. Well, sorry, I don't have that strike on my box. So we want to remove those barriers, and now going forward, there's going to be no more exclusive activity content, no exclusive
no hay exclusivas.
Like exotic weapons. We're not doing
Los de Play teníamos ventaja ahí, teníamos asaltos. So, teníamos mapas.
One more thing that I'm going to share before we're done is that this year, Destiny 2 on PC needs to find a new home.
Some would say
Steve, venga.
Yeah, and so we need to find a new home, and because we're self-publishing Destiny now, and we're truly on our own. And so Destiny 2 is going to be coming to Steam. This means that anyone currently playing Destiny 2, they're going to be able to come over to Steam, free of charge. They're going to continue their accounts. They're going to continue all their possessions. Going to move over. Any licenses they had, any DLC, like whatever, it all comes over. And Shadowkeep, the D2 expansion that's coming out this fall, is going to be shipping exclusively on Steam this year. It's kind of like when you relocate for a job, and they relocate you, and like a van shows up at your house and loads all your stuff in, and then takes it, and you show up at your new house, and it's all there. But this time we're gonna unpack it and move you over to Steam. How exactly this is all gonna happen? There's gonna be a website on BungieNet somewhere that describes it in more detail. But we want the transition to be really seamless for players and a really good experience. So a thing that we want to try to do to wrap all of this up is do the Instagram cut down version of everything we just talked about in 20 seconds. So the vision for Destiny going forward is pretty simple. It's an awesome action MMO in a single evolving world that you can play anywhere. By playing anywhere, that means cross-save across all of our platforms. We have a new platform that we're adding this year, Stadia. We have a new entry point for the game called Destiny 2 New Light, which is free. And everything we add to the game is going to be purchased a la carte going forward. So Shadowkeep, Season 8. Let's say in Season 8 we start to lay the foundation for some changes we want to make to PvP. It doesn't tempt you to come back yet. Well, maybe in Season 9 we'll have something that's going to make you want to come back for sure. No more exclusives going forward for us in terms of gameplay and armor and weapons. And if you're playing the game on PC, we're moving you to Steam. That's kind of like that's the end of the set list. The encore, if we're carrying the music thing forward, is this awesome? I think it's more than an encore. Yeah, actually, we're the opening act. Yeah, they've been watching two dudes talk to you for 12 minutes or whatever. So, the main event is coming up. Dato's behind us getting ready. But first, let's take a look at a new Vidoc called Out of the Shadows.
Ojo la música,
This really is the beginning of a new era, and I think beginning is an important part of that sentence.
This is the first time I think that, in a long time that Bungie has stood kind of on its own.
And we're self-publishing. It's a really big deal. There's a huge opportunity here for us to really make our own decisions.
It's a turning point for us. We are in charge of our own destiny,
It's empowering and terrifying at the same time.
There are only two groups who are going to decide what happens to Destiny next. Bungie and the players who play Destiny.
Toma. Toma pullita Activision, Ahora deciden los jugadores y Bungie, no ellos. Toma. Encima, out of the shadow, es como fuera de las sombras, ¿sabes? Como pullitas. A ver la luna. Buah.
So at its core,
Esto es crota, ¿no?
is about returning to the moon.
We haven't been in the moon in a while since Destiny 1, and a lot's changed.
When you go back, it isn't exactly what you thought it was.
There's like huge cracks ripped into it. There's a weird scarlet fortress. And so the context of the moon has been updated entirely.
This isn't just about the hive anymore. It's about something else, something terrifying.
Buah. Como mola, chaval.
The moon this time around is something really scary that is playing on your fear in a way that hasn't happened before. Before it was, oh, it's a big giant thing and it's scary, but now there's actual like some psychological elements.
Hostia, tocho,
How long has it sat in silence, watching us?
Much too long.
Having Eris Morn come back instantly signals to
Está
players
Eris
the
Morn.
tone shift and change.
There's an undertone of threatening and psychological horror.
You're all insufferable!
We want to tap into what makes Guardians afraid. What are their worst fears?
Shadowkeep refers to the things that Eris unleashed on the solar system. Nightmares are manifestations of a Guardian's past.
What if the villains that you thought were well into the ground actually weren't, and they were being resurrected by the darkness?
Esa crota, el fantasma de crota,
Eris is trying to figure out how she unleashed this kind of madness. And so
sí, puta
she needs
Erismor,
your
chaval.
help.
Es que el juego está muy guapo, gente, tío. Os lo digo de verdad, Pero el problema es que no tiene contenido.
Make them go away.
What if you can't do all of the things that you've grown accustomed to doing?
Being unable
El problema es que no tiene contenido y era todo muy caro y tal.
Players, they think we can deal with this. We killed Crota, like we killed Oryx. Like, no big deal, right? Well, you're gonna get there and you discover it's a bigger deal than you even thought it could be.
The darkness is actually a lot closer than you realized.
Tiene muy buena pinta,
You know my suffering.
Finish business.
It's been a year, basically, of just a constant two-way dialogue with all of our passionate players.
Under it or on the sides of it more? The number of green...
That's really informed what it is that players want out of the Destiny game and how we're evolving, not just the story of the world, but
Por
what
cierto,
happens to
¿tiene
you
ficha ya Destiny 2 en Steam?
supposed to blow you back or whatever, it's related to acceleration.
A bunch of the work that we're doing is about adding depth to the character sheet. You know, the teams are thinking about how do we want to evolve armor, get more stats into the game, get more player customization. How can we get the depth of pursuit for how you want to play with this awesome character you've been building now for, you know, some of us 5 years.
And like completely new ways of deepening the like character
Carga,
RPG
tío.
that we all know and love and want to be better.
Hostia, como molan las armaduras, Buah.
In Shadowkeep, we are fundamentally evolving the systems and moving the world forward.
You want to bring some of that sci-fi element back to it, where it's like
some like panels
or something. We've been dancing this line between like, are we RPG enough? Are we not RPG enough? And now we're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just go all in and just say like, hey, let's give players what they want. Allow them to kind of like customize the players and their habits and their game modes and all that stuff as much as they want to.
So in Shadowkeep, what we're doing is changing the way that armor, perks, and mods work pretty significantly.
Right now, in the game, if you have an armor set that you like the look of, but you have another armor set that you like the way it plays, you're probably going to pick the one that you like the way it plays.
Armor 2.0 is focused on allowing you to take the mods that you've unlocked and apply them to any given piece of armor.
When I move my cursor over one of these mod sockets, it immediately shows me all of the mods that are available to me.
Personally, I'm excited about the
Ojo, artefactos, eso es nuevo,
get to kind of like fidget with these knobs and switches and do all the things that they want to do.
When you get to this last tier, each of these perks
O sea, hay transmog.
relatively close to what an
Eso está
exotic
bien,
might
¿eh?
feel like. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Finishing moves are a new thing for Shadowkeep. What's your favorite?
I mean, there's some crazy ones.
For the hunter, this awesome flourish where he actually does like spin in front of him, has two.
Anda, mira que está. Ese guau, eso me acuerdo yo.
What the heck? Like, what game is this?
Este es como un gag.
Yeah, Titan finisher. He jumps in the air, pulls back, looks at his fist, and.
Pero si eso ya lo dijo, qué bueno. Qué bueno.
It's kind of like the dunk. There's so many different ways to dunk. You can behind the back, 360 cartwheel,
Qué
whatever.
bueno, tío. Eso lo vimos en los renegados. A ver, endgame, a ver.
We're in the playtest lab every day, trying to figure out what's good for the game, what do people want, what have they been asking for, trying new ideas.
So I want to try. I added radar hiding.
Let me know how it feels to get shot by the heavy bow. I am working on an exotic heavy bow, and I'm just working on figuring out some knockback, trying to see how big this. Okay, that's probably too much, but you get the idea. This is an exotic trace rifle. Fire it on an enemy and it creates a big old crit spot. Here's a hand cannon that Victor's working on. It fires special ammo, and it's a little bit like a one-handed sniper.
Like, it's actually our only hand cannon with a scope on it. Right now, it kind of lights you on fire if you keep firing it too much. We'll see. Some people like it, some people are kind of but we'll hammer it all out.
All right, it's time. It's about to get loud in here. 1v1. 1v1 on the board.
One of the things we really want to focus on, especially with Season 8 and the start of Shadowkeep, is a renewed focus on PvP.
You're all on the other team.
A ver, PvP.
Updating labs to include some much-loved game types from the past. We're also redoing a bunch of the playlists and how they work. But the really important thing for players to know is this is us building the foundation of what we're doing with the Crucible going forward.
Previously, you would have a 20, 40, 60-hour climb before you could do what's considered in-game content. And now you can pretty much do that immediately.
We want you to feel like you are in the end game from the moment you step on the planet.
Leveling up your Guardian and becoming more powerful, overcoming dungeons, overcoming raids.
For the raid, we had multiple destinations that we were considering, and Black Garden was like immediately top of the list.
Qué bonita, tío.
I was like, yes, and I was like, yes, that's what I wanted.
With Forsaken, we've started finding more ways for players to customize and personalize their character and differentiate themselves. Shadowkeep's going to push even further in that direction.
The word, which is really guiding us in a bunch of ways, is depth. It's about experiential depth. When we look at how we're thinking about the next 3-5 years, it's really important to us.
It's cool to have a game that you can invest in with your friends, tweak your monster killing machine and make it 2% better every weekend, doing different things and figuring out how to craft this perfect build that you feel like is your own. Like, that is cool. There's nothing nerdy about it. We're like happy to own that. We're going to stand on that corner.
As things change, if the game doesn't feel like it's changing to meet the new landscape, it just all fall down. Part of our DNA is finding different ways to bring people together. We needed a way to crush the barriers between friends.
We all have friends who could play Destiny, who are interested in it, but then we think about recommending it like, oh man, you're gonna have to play about 40 hours by yourself, and then you gotta pay all this money, and maybe you should just play something else. And that can't be the story. We need an entry point for your friends to be able to get into Destiny.
This is just simply about bringing people together to make it easy for players to enter this universe.
There's a new entry point coming out in September called New Light, and New Light is a free-to-download experience.
We're going to start off in the same place where Guardians first came into the world.
Guardian. Guardian? Eyes up, Guardian. Worked. You're alive.
You started in the Cosmodrome.
You're going back.
Going back. Yeah, blast from the past.
Okay, it's not going to break orbit, but it just might get us to the city.
It's as easy as come in, make a character, play the amazing introduction to the game, and then land in the tower.
And then we'll set them loose to open up the world as they see fit.
And have sort of an array of potential in front of you.
Que va a poner donde quieran, ¿no?
Básicamente. And get into some of the same activities that your friends might be playing. The campaigns from D to Year One, the Red War, Curse of Osiris, Warmind.
Every world we have will be available for them to explore and to free roam and to do bounties on. Every cooperative strike, whether they're playing with friends or matchmaking, every competitive multiplayer map.
The D2 Year 1 raids like Leviathan.
Full access to Gambit, the hybrid mode that we have. All these things are available to them for nothing.
We've always said that Destiny is best when you play it with your friends, and we're trying to make it easier. So if your friends who are playing Destiny are on different platforms, we're adding cross-save so that you can move between the different platforms and play wherever your friends are.
Like if I'm playing and I want to move over to my PC, I should have my character go with me. We want Destiny to meet you wherever you want to play, so that's incredibly important for us.
We wanted cross-save before we shipped Destiny 2, right? Like a bunch of it was built. We just couldn't get there for capital R reasons. And many of those reasons have disappeared. So we are headed full steam ahead on that. And we got to figure out how we're going to get there and how we're going to give the players what they want.
As culture as we can get. Thanks, buddy.
Our original vision for Destiny was a world that would evolve and change.
We're leaning really hard into that because we believe that's where the future of Destiny is.
The long horizon for Destiny is to become an evolving world. You're going to tune in to see what's going to happen next.
We can completely build Destiny in the vision that we want it to be in, a vision that isn't dictated by a commercial model or a business plan, but our creative vision and what we want to do for our players and what they want us to do with Destiny.
I feel like our work isn't done. We have a series of missions that we need to finish before I think we have Destiny in the place that it needs to be, and we're back to, I guess, finish the fight, so to speak.
Welcome, gamers, to the Q&A portion of the stream. Someone's very enthusiastic.
Vale, gente, pues esto es todo.
There we go. There's a bunch more enthusiasm. Welcome to the Q&A portion of the stream. If you know who I am, you're probably familiar with me doing Q&A stuff.